identify as part of the alt-right group are a little concerned with the way that alt-right males have been treating them. It seems as though they would like a little bit of social justice within their ideological group. Now, there are two women specifically who have spoken out about this. Tara McCarthy is one of them, and she essentially addressed these issues on Twitter because she noticed that a lot of alt-right women are being trolled rather aggressively.
Oh no, by the way, I'd like to note for the record, she's an ethno-nationalist.
Right.
So she'd like to be racist, just not sexist. Okay, let's just be clear. Okay, now go ahead. I would like to hear this special snowflake complain about the movement she's in.
If the tables was turned, you'd be scolded and spurned.
Bibi Cuckoo is just 19, already married, 5 months pregnant, sought after as a bride because of her beauty. But now she's badly burned from her belly on down. She told doctors an oil lamp exploded as she was lighting it. The doctors didn't believe her.
The lamp is there and you put a stick, matches there, and you will get burned here. You'll just burn here. But how it will get burned from here down?
So her story didn't add up?
Yeah, the story was not, but she said that was a story.
After several weeks, Bibi finally told nurses the truth. She'd been forced to marry, was abused, and with no one to turn to, tried to kill herself.
So I will read you her series of tweets. By the way, her Twitter account is private at the moment. She wrote, "Women in the alt-right are constantly harassed by low-status anonymous trolls trying to put us in our place."
No.
That sucks for her.
Alt-right men doing that? I would never.
"The ultimate goal seems to be to bully us off the internet."
Alt-right men?
No.
No, there's gambling in this establishment?
Men in the alt-right are going to have to decide whether they will continue to passively/actively endorse this behavior or speak out against it. Now, she must have gotten some backlash for speaking out because she immediately backpedaled a little bit, but also got defensive. She says, "Guys, I'm not saying I can't take any trolling or harassment on the internet. Obviously I can."
I know she means that because of the asterisks.
Right,
That makes sense.
good emphasis there.
That's true.
I've probably had more of it than most of you will see in a lifetime, and I'm still here, not going anywhere. I'm not stating the above solely for my own personal benefit. The problem I'm stating here is not that there are trolls on the internet, but that there are people who proclaim to be on our side that are trying to tear down women in our group. If you can't see why this is dysfunctional, I can't help you.
Yeah.
If the tables was turned, you'd be nice as a cold buffet.
So if you can't see that the alt-right is entirely dysfunctional, we can't help you. So
no matter what bad thing happens to you, whether you get your wallet stolen, get food poisoning, or have a tree branch fall on your parked car, you can be certain someone, somewhere is going to blame you for what happened.
she's like, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, we all troll. Trolling is great. But I thought we were just all gonna troll black people, and Latinos, and Muslims and stuff. Now you guys are getting up in my grill. Why can't I have rights?
It's like the plot of Jurassic Park. It's like,
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. You were saying?
They don't think of women as the same class of human beings. They see you as second class individuals. And so, really, you're surprised, and okay.
If the tables was turned, far as I was concerned.
Now let's move on to another woman who is speaking out. Lauren Southern is her name.
Okay, so I am in absolute shock right now. I am now medically diagnosed as a male. This is astonishing to me. I mean, it's quite clear that my hair is just up in a hat, but I guess that's all it takes to get your diagnosis. So I already have better eyesight. You know, I think I'm getting paid more. You know, I'm stronger. I feel more privileged. This is great. Being a man is great, but I need one last thing to be a real man. I need to legally be a man. So we're gonna go and see if I can get my government ID changed to male.
And she was getting criticized by members of the alt-right because she is in favor of the traditional family dynamic. However, she herself is not married and she does not have kids. And so they've been going after her for not being a baby-making machine, and she addressed those criticisms in a YouTube video. I'll read you an excerpt from it. She said, "I'm not trying to sell the idea that myself as a 22-year-old needs to be married right now for the sake of traditionalism and not being a degenerate. What is also just completely shocking to me is the utter lack of understanding of nuance."
Oh, wait. The alt-right has trouble understanding nuance.
Context. What is context?
I am not trying to sell an idea that myself as a 22-year-old needs to be married right now for the sake of traditionalism and not being a degenerate. No, in fact, I think it would be degenerate for me to get married right now without someone that I'm truly in love with and think could be a good father to my children. In fact, I think that would be significantly worse for the Western world. That would be significantly worse for my children to raise them as a single mother. As you know, they're more likely to commit suicide, more likely to be alcoholics, more likely to drop out of school, and it's just devastating growing up with a broken family. So I'm not going to get married at 22 years old just so that I won't be called a degenerate on the internet. What is also just completely shocking to me is the utter lack of understanding of nuance and the exception. I think people that ignore that there are exceptions to the rule are just as crazy as people who ignore there is a rule in the first place in generals, and they exist, and we should talk in generalities so we can understand each other. But ignoring that there are exceptions is just as silly. Some women, yes, are going to be happier not having any kids. They are going to be happier not being married, and that's okay. That doesn't make them a horrible human being. That doesn't mean they have to be shamed for the rest of their life. The reason I talk about this isn't because I want people to feel terrible. It's because I want them to be happy. And on average, women and men are happy being married and with kids. On average, women are happy being housewives. And there are exceptions, and people need to accept that and think with just a little tiny bit of nuance.
Color me surprised. I would not have guessed that. So here's another woman saying, and in her case, she attacks feminists. Why does she do that? Because the problem with feminists is that they're always trying to get the same rights as men.
While single motherhood is praised, even subsidized by the state, the feminist movement pushes a view of men as patriarchal abusers of women, and even portray them as a domestic threat to their own families. If you read articles from Everyday Feminist or Jezebel today, they condemn the very idea of Father's Day. It's insane. And yet many people today are okay with this attitude because, well, the future is female, or it's our turn to oppress, or some nonsense like that.
I believe that's exactly what you're trying to do here.
It's pretty interesting.
Okay,
yeah.
So now when you try to get the same rights as the alt-right men, and they don't respect you, and they don't give you those rights or respect, it's almost like you need feminism to help a sister out.
Total straw man argument. If you don't have a good argument, you just go to a strong man argument. All right.
There are literally, okay, pretty big name alt-right male figures who talk about how they don't think rape is a big deal. They don't care about rape.
قضية الضرب دي شبهة خطيرة جدا.
نعم.
واحدة معانا مولانا.
أقول إن الله كرم المرأة بهذه العقوبة عقوبة الضرب.
Why are you surprised?
Why are you yelling at me?
That they don't care about you, that they don't see you as a human being, that they would rather troll you or harass you. I mean, we're talking about the group of people who go around threatening people with rape.
Your goons went after her and she had 600 to 1,000 rape threats.
She never did. She had non-rape threats.
You're saying she had no rape threats?
She
Zero.
She literally go through every tweet. There was people saying, "I won't rape you." They're not threats, and you can't make them threats no matter how many times you say it, right? But do you know what her response to this was?
Yeah, I watched her videos about it.
And what did she say?
Well, she thinks it's a good reason for her initiative
No,
to
she
try
literally went on Victoria Live, a British TV program, and said, "I didn't care. I was out in the garden playing with my kids. I just don't care." So that you're arguing over a tweet that caused no damage, there's no offense, and the victim of this non-threat doesn't even give a shit. You're You look like you're about to
You don't
cry.
think she's trying to...
Why?
What?
Why? Explain why you're so emotionally invested in this.
Right? We're talking about the same group of people who go around, saying the most disgusting, hideous things about minorities, which you probably enjoy.
The ADL created a questionnaire of 11 anti-Semitic statements or stereotypes, including Jews have too much power in international financial markets. Jews have too much control over the global media. Jews still talk too much about what happened to them in the Holocaust. And people hate Jews because of the way Jews behave. Those who said at least 6 statements are probably true are considered by the ADL to harbor anti-Semitic attitudes. The ADL's index attempts to leave people's political views on Israeli politics out of its equation. So, based on this index, where is anti-Semitism most prevalent? The Middle East and North Africa region, where 74% of people surveyed held anti-Semitic views. In the West Bank and Gaza, 93%. Iraq, 92%. Iran got the lowest score in the region, 56%. One response in particular is likely to alarm Jewish leaders. Only 38% of people in this region have heard of the Holocaust. Of those who have heard about it, 22% agreed it's been described fairly by history. 63% think the Holocaust was a myth or exaggeration. What region is the least anti-Semitic? That would be the Americas, where less than 1 in 5 people overall hold anti-Semitic views. In the US, it's about 1 in 11. What about Europe? In Western Europe, the average score is 24%. But in Eastern Europe and Russia, anti-Semitic attitudes are 10% higher. How do Christians and Muslims worldwide compare? Nearly a quarter of Christians believed 6 or more of the survey statements. Muslims, around half.
But more importantly, they say negative, hideous things about women all the time. I don't know, it's just, okay, cry me a fucking river.
Excuse me? Are you actually trying to blame the victim here?
Like, why are you surprised? I mean, these are women who are young, they're in their 20s, maybe they'll learn. I remember there was a period of time in my life where I was afraid of the word feminism as well. I'm like, oh my God, feminism, no, I don't want to be associated with them, that's terrible. Look, I've come to the realization that the people who get that rise out of, attacking others, putting other people down, those are miserable people. But am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage, okay? And it's because I bought into this feminazi propaganda that was fueled by deplorable people like Rush Limbaugh. And so, look, I mean, live a little, because you'll see what really goes on.
Well, she's living a little now. Let me give you a quote from her. She says, feminism and, quote, female empowerment has led to a generation of the least happy women in history.
And so the women who are in the lower socioeconomic stratas are suffering madly, and so are their children. And they have terrible jobs most of the time, like jobs in retail where, they're called in every day for the next day. They don't have a schedule that's set out ahead of them. They get paid very badly. They've got kids to take care of. And so they have no free time. It makes them really easy targets for useless predatory males. And it's really hard on the kids. And that's like 40% of the female population, something like that. You guys, well, I don't know about all of you, but you're in university. You're part of the privileged cognitive elite, So these sorts of things don't really touch you the same way they touch other people.
So well, you sound really happy now.